Okay. I think finally I managed to get OBS to work. So if you are watching, then you are currently seeing a test race which we are doing with via meetup. So this is for a new series which we are experimenting with via meetups, because now you can do race results in meetups. So we're trying this format out to see how well it kind of functions as a racing kind of format. And you can see already, actually, there is a rider who's gone up the road. He's one of the junior riders here. Hasn't got his username. Oh, boo, hasn't got a heart rate monitor on. We'll let him off. It's a test event, so I'll specify that next time. Alright, let's double check that everything is working correctly. I'm sorry that I missed the start of the race. I am blaming OBS 100% for that one. If you have anything to say from a chat perspective, then I do have Restream chat open. So for the time being, we're watching the young man from Israel. He's got 7 seconds here on the field. He's riding that new Specialized SL7 here. But Neil Ostenfeld gonna close it down, and he is surrounded by his Evoc teammates here. He's gonna go right past the young man. So for those that don't know, we are, as I said before, we're trying something out. We're experimenting doing racing via meetups. Now you get race results when you finish. And yes, that means that actually it seems plausible that you'll be able to use meetups as a viable platform for racing. So we're just experimenting with it. So this is a test event. We're going to run a 5-stage series, provided everything goes well with this. I experimented and tested everything out this morning. That's a lie, it was this afternoon. But yeah, you do, at the end of the race, you will get race results. So everyone who finishes in whatever order they are will receive a ranked order. And we have a mixture of teams trying out this test. We have Ivok. We have this team called the Misfits. So the Misfits are actually our, they are those who have signed up to apply. They've applied to be in the Canyon ZCC development squad, and so we figured it would be a nice chance for them to kind of get a bit of a hit out, try their luck against some of the A+ riders, see how they get on, and just kind of give them that kind of opportunity to race, basically. So something new for them, it's something new for us. And we will have more teams available when it comes to the actual series launching proper. But for now, this is just the test event. And I've tested out that OBS is a little bit more squeaky than it was when I last used it. So worth paying attention to. Everyone's taking it relatively relaxed. What's interesting about this is that it's not just a single lap. It is going to be it's a lap plus. So because you can choose when where the finish line is going to be, I tried to put the finish line at the top of the really steep part on this course. So it's about halfway around. So Jerry Delport, thank you very much for joining. Yes, indeed. So this is a Zwift meetup race. This is a test event just to see how well it works. And yeah, it's something new. So I tested it. I tested it earlier, and you do get results at the finish, which is great. That's what we expected. You don't start in a pen. You still start like any other meetup. So we tried a neutralized start, which I wasn't able to record at the beginning. So I, as the leader of the meetup, and had a beacon. Everyone had to ride behind me for 1 kilometer until I said go, and it worked pretty well. So relatively pleased with that. And yeah, I think that works as probably the best way for a meetup race, is to have a beacon essentially riding there as like a race director safety car in front of the riders. Yeah, and it worked pretty well. So yeah, so far so good. So what's going to be interesting is I tried to calculate where the finish line would be. I wanted it to be at the top of the steepest bit of the climb, so I had to kind of calculate where that would be, and we'll see whether it's actually where I wanted it to be or not. But fingers crossed it is. So that's why we're doing a test event. That's why we're trying it out before launching our series properly. It's good to kind of work out all the bugs well in advance. So if you go onto our Instagram, then you'll be able to see exactly when the race series will be happening and how many stages. We haven't updated what exactly the courses will be, but that will be dependent on how well this test event goes, to be honest. So yeah, it's interesting that already in this event we're already down to a select group of riders. So Ramirez here from the Misfits team, he's back there. He's only a few seconds off this front group, but most of the guys here are back in this smaller group. So, and they're quite split up, which is interesting. Philip stopped riding. Unbelievable. So it's quite a select group already. There you go, Brian. Hold some kudos for you. And yeah, we'll work out the kinks, we'll work out the bugs. Thanks to the guys from Ivok. We should have teams from Saris, Pros Closet should be joining us. We should also have the guys from Vitus also joining us. And we're waiting for a few other teams to kind of confirm. But it's not such a big deal for this test event, because this is just to try out the format, to see how it works. For those who have signed up and are riding it, they can see how it works for them and kind of get a bit of an idea ahead of time. When we come around to doing the event proper, we will we'll have a lot more teams, a lot more riders racing. So for now, it's kind of good just to have the guys kind of testing it out, see how this format works for them, and they can provide feedback to me afterwards. As I say, we didn't even advertise this event on that we'd be live streaming it. For the very fact that, as I say, this is a test to see how we get on. So it's really interesting to see, the likes of like Brian Hodges, Austin Feld here in the mix. Some few youngsters who most people won't know, and then we've got Ollie Jones as well in there. So it's in that sense, it's pretty unique. So if you have stumbled across this, then yeah, you're seeing something which is a little bit different. So as I say, it's a pretty short course, and yeah. So I'm just figuring out, like, whoa, how does it actually look? So for example, for me, watching it from the stream perspective, I cannot see, even when I'm a fan view, how many kilometers the riders I'm watching have done. So that makes it particularly tricky. So I can only see how far I've gone in the race. So that's why if you see the stream at the top, you can't actually see where these riders are actually in the course. So I can tell you, because one loop of this particular route is just under 12 kilometers. So they're coming around to that now. So they've done about 12 kilometers. So they've got about half a lap to go. But yeah, sadly, in the fan view, you can't actually see where they are. So Again, that's one of the downsides of using the meetup race format. So you can see the beacon here. So they're gonna pass me here. They'll be able to see on their screens how far they've got to go. I'm not able to see that. So again, that's the whole point of doing a test event, and really seeing whether it works and how well does it work, and should we continue doing it? Should we try and tweak the format? Yeah, it's obviously not as straightforward as doing a normal kind of race event. So for me, it's super interesting to kind of test that side of things out. But anyway, as far as the actual racing's going, okay, the guys are not going like full out like they might be in a normal race, but they don't have to be because it is just a test. But for them, from their angle, it probably looks very similar to a normal race. At the top of their screen, they will be seeing a countdown for how far they've got to go. So for them, the experience will be very similar. The only difference will be that where the finish line is, they'll be going through one of those kind of transparent blue banners, which is not going to be under a kind of a in-game kind of built-in physical-esque structure. So they'll have to guess how far it is that they've got to go. As I say, I tried to make it as close to the top of that really steep climb around halfway round. And for all the teams that do actually race, they will get proper race instructions, as in it will be clearly stated where that finish line is supposed to be. So, yeah. For this event, I just roughly told them where it was because it's not the end of the world. There are no points on offer. So when we do launch the series properly, there will be a point structure for the top 10 finishers. Because we get race results at the end of these meetups now, it does mean that we are able to allocate race points. And the easiest way to do that seemed to be to give those points to the top 10 riders. And we have kind of like a point system descending in order for that. So that is how that's going to work. Of course, we can't do any intermediate points because we just don't have access to kind of that tech. So in some ways, we're kind of hacking the setup. So this new race results feature in meetups only launched or became available on Monday, Tuesday, I think. So it's really, really new. So maybe we'll be able to see some tweaks to that. Maybe in meetups, in the future, you'll be able to actually put riders in the pens because that infrastructure is already in the game. If you choose to do a race, and maybe if you switch to fan view, you'll be able to see the distance counter at the top rather than it being fixed, because my avatar has stopped riding, so you can't actually see, which would be really nice addition. So you could utilize this format a lot better. So for the time being, yeah, we just have to freestyle it. Of course, there's no race results on Zwift Power. But the big benefit of being able to do something via a meetup is that you're really flexible how you do it. You can do it however you want. You're able to kind of switch the details as and when you want. You don't have to ask anyone for permission. You can just go ahead, do it, set it up. And for us, that was kind of like a really interesting proposition because we've wanted to do races for since we started the team. So, and it's not something which has been available to us. So, yeah, I know there's many race organizers out there who have managed to jump through the hoops, but we have not been able to do that. So this just seemed like a really easy way to do it. So, as I say, the riders must be coming close to the finish. So obviously, so they've done 15 kilometers here. So I can see how far the avatar has been. I just can't see it on the bottom. So in total, I think this race is 18 kilometers, what I set it to. So they've got 3 more kilometers to go. So it is good but I remembered that at least. Yeah, so it's 18 kilometers in length. So the guys have got 3 kilometers left to go. And the finish is going to be up the steepest part of the course, all things going well. So that's why, you know, from a wattage standpoint, you know, they're still really putting out a lot of power here, but no one's really attacking because I think they're all leaving it till the finish. But you can see here the young Misfit riders moving up to the front. The EVOT riders here they outnumber everyone in total. So going to be interesting to see what they do. Does somebody go early to try and force Ollie? He's on his own here. Or what are the Misfit riders going to do? So as I said before, if you missed that, the Misfit riders are applicants to the Canyon ZCC youth development squad. So we created kind of a team made out of applicants just for them to try out the format, get a bit of racing in the legs, see how they compare to other guys. And yeah, it's kind of a good thing for them. So it's nice to see that 2 of the guys have managed to hang. So we have Velez here. Velez. Believe he is based in America, if I'm remembering. So we've had a lot of applicants coming through, and so it's hard to keep track of everyone. But I believe, yeah, he's got an American flag. I believe, yeah, he's based in America. And who else do we have based here? So you have the Belgian Drico. Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting just to see how these guys get on against some of the best racers in the e-racing world. So, we're nearly at 1 kilometer to go, so it'll be interesting to know who do you think is going to win. We do have the chat open, so if you do want to put in your guesses who you think is going to win here. We are coming up to the Flamme Rouge. So as I said, the finish is right at the top of this steep section. So we thought we'd experiment, try something out, try a hilltop finish, where, yeah, you won't ever normally see one. So this section's really steep. So let's see how these guys get on. All right, the EVOT boys are going. All 3 of them have gone early. Ostenfeld, he's gone. Let's see how the guy's following. So the 3 EVOT riders right behind them. Drico's right behind him. Ollie is watching the wheels. Velez is there also. Ramirez, interestingly, is only 10 seconds behind. Ostenfeld, he looks like he is going for this one. Very low heart rate. Wherever he is, it's very, very cool. He's in the US. We're all sweating our tits off here in Europe. So but he's lost the wheel here. Ollie Jones is still in there. So it's up to his compatriot here, Simon Collard, to make it to the finish. So they have 0.6, 600 meters to go. Velez just about managing to hang on. All right, Ostenfeld's out there. I'm not sure if he had a problem or if he just went all in for that final section. So, interestingly, just from a testing perspective, I'd hoped for the banner to be a little bit further back. But, you know, when you're just looking at a graph to see where the actual kind of top is, it's quite difficult. So, the guys have got 0.4. They've got 400 meters to go. They can just see the finish line in their sights. Who is going to take it? Let's see. It's going to be a sprint. Ollie opens up. He's got his aero power up. Brian Hodges also has an aero power up. He's right on his wheel. Hodges just goes past Ollie Jones there. He's still kicking. And it looks like Hodges got it. So interestingly enough, yeah, just from a viewing experience, it's not possible. You don't get the race results from fan view. You do not get you do not see who you don't see the race results. So which is obviously a shame from a kind of viewing experience. So anyway, so Ramirez here, he's going across the line. All right, he is across the line. So you can just see his name changes from green to blue. It says he's finished. You can't see the line. Osterfeld uses his aero power up. He's going to come over. And he is over the line as well. Oh, nice to see a sprint here right at the finish from these two riders. Nicely done. So, Satchel here. Chan still further back. And then Guide is still riding. Give these guys some kudos. All right, so. And these guys also look like they are suffering. So that was it. So I'm glad that we did that test because it's really interesting just to kind of figure out, you know, what do you actually get from a kind of viewing experience in this race series. Sadly, there's still a lot of components which are missing. So it might be that we in future will take a stream from a rider who is in the race. The only downside to that is that we can't select who it is. We can't jump between riders in the same way. So we have to figure that part out. That's the whole reason for doing a test. That's the whole point, to figure it out basically, and just to see, you know, how we can make this format work. So it clearly works, I think, if you're an individual racing, you get more or less a full racing experience. But if you are trying to do a live stream in the same way you try to do it from a race, it's not going to work in the same way, sadly. So that is something to be figured out. Luckily, we have a few weeks to figure that out before the first race series, because really it would be great if we could actually make this a proper race which people can watch via the live stream. So we've got to work out those kinks, and yep, when we do, then we'll be back on the live stream and you'll be able to see how it works. So a little bit back to the drawing board. Definitely need to figure out a bit better the finish lines, because that is not where it was supposed to be according to the map. It started a little bit further back. Well done, Satchel, there. Yeah, so but we should be able to get the race results when it comes to looking at the riders who have been in the event. Should be able to see the actual results. So let's quickly look whilst I have people on the stream. Thank you for those who've joined. There's a couple of people who have joined rather late. You've missed the race. I'm rather sad to say. Very sad to say. Yeah. So we were just testing out doing racing via the meetup function. And it is not the same as doing a proper, fully fledged race. There are still quite a few kinks to it. Can swap to Ollie. Sadly, Ollie is still riding. So only when Ollie stops riding will I be able to get full access to the results. So we'll keep an eye. It looks like he's slowing up. Come on, Ollie, mate. Don't do a warm down. Yeah. So bit of work to do there. But yeah, thanks for watching those that did. We'll try and make it a bit more engaging. The races will be a little bit longer. We made it specifically short just so that we could very quickly get an idea on how well this format basically works. So that's why this is not a kind of fully fledged race. That's why it was over so quickly. In about 25 minutes, so very quick. But that's because we wanted to kind of figure everything out very quickly rather than have like a fully fledged race. So yeah, plenty to work on. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm going to end it there. And next time, when we come back for the full race series, we'll have some of these bugs worked out. And we'll have the stream starting from the very beginning. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get some of those things which are missing. So the race results, get those done very quickly. So if you're not left in suspense who actually won. And as well as a better idea of where the riders are on the course and where the finish line is. Because that's one thing which is really missing there. So not being able to see the finish line when you switch to fan view, that's a bit annoying. You should be able to see that really. So yeah, we can also provide that feedback to Zwift, and you never know, they might implement it. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Gonna end that there, and yeah, you'll see some more from us soon in the next couple of weeks. For the meantime, you can watch the guys racing in the map tour. We had a great race today, and the series continues next week. So we're not starting our series until after that. So for the time being, you want to watch the guys race, watch it in the map tour. Otherwise, yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks, everyone who participated in the race and tried it out. Hope it went well, and look forward to your feedback. All right, catch you guys later.